Alright guys, in this video, consider this your instant level up in melodies and chord progression. Share this with a friend and subscribe if you're new. So the first technique is understanding the tonic. Wherever you start, this is called the root note or the tonic, the tonal center. From here, you can count up 7 notes. Note by note, that gives you what's called a perfect fifth. If you're wondering what this app is, it's called Chord Codes. This is my proprietary software I used to teach, okay? This is called the perfect fifth. It's always 7 notes up from the tonic, or technically 5 notes down, depending on which direction you go. Okay, so D to A in this case is the perfect fifth. Now what we're gonna do though is add what's called a half step. A half step is when you go either a note above or a note below, like this, or like this. In this case, we're gonna do what's called a sharp tonic. Sharp means going upward a half step, okay? Flat means going down a half step. So we're gonna do what's called the tonic and the perfect fifth, and then we're gonna sharp those 2 notes. So we're gonna sharpen them by going up 1. So these 4 notes will give you a lot of pivot room, and literally I'm gonna show you guys how you can pivot to any note from here. See how I'm choosing those in-between notes? It doesn't even matter what key I'm in because they all work. And then after that note, I'm just changing the note. So I'm playing tonic, sharp tonic, fifth, sharp fifth, back down to the fifth, and then any other note. There's no scale you have to work in. It's just, you could literally play any note. I'm literally just playing random notes. So when you understand the power of just the tonic and the perfect fifth, everything opens up because now you're not bound to a specific key or a specific scale, and that's what keeps beginners limited. The next concept here is understanding what Jeff Schneider calls the 10th, and when you think of it as a 10th, it makes a lot more sense. Technically, it's called a raised third, but even thinking in that way, it's kind of complicated. So what we're going to do is play what's called a minor 9th chord. The chord code is 0, 3, 7, 10, 14. You guys can copy the notes on the screen. What we're gonna do is take what's called the third, or the 3 in this case, okay, is the minor third. We're gonna raise it up an octave, and we're gonna play it in addition to the chord. Usually I play this going downward. And it just sounds melodic, just simply moving that third up an octave. So if I were to play it normally, it doesn't sound not melodic, but it doesn't have that melodic touch. Now here's what happens if we raise that third. And I'm playing 1 chord. See how that 1 change? Shout out to Jeff Schneider for that tip. So he calls it the 10th. And simply just raising that third, the reason why this works is because the third gives the chord the identity. For example, what separates a minor chord from a major chord? It's the third in this case. So if I change this minor third to a major third, by going up a half step, it changes the chord completely. So the 3rd and the 7th, for those who want to know, these are like, I call these tonal twins, because the tonic and the 5th are tonal twins. I call these tonal twins. Why? Because they like to move in the same direction. For example, if you guys really study it, the 3rd and the 7th are 7 notes away, and the tonic and the 5th are 7 notes away. So they're basically the same thing, and they tend to move in the same direction. So if I wanted to convert a minor chord to a major chord, the 3rd and the 7th have to move in the same direction. That's how you get that Tyler the Creator type vibe. So I'm just switching from major to minor chord in that case. So now you guys know the melodic secrets of understanding the tonic and the perfect fifth. and the sharp fifth, that will get you so far in music theory because literally everything else is an option at that point. Then you learned about what's called raising the third. Okay, so we're 5 minutes in, so I gotta move a little bit quicker. Now the next technique is great for guitar. This is called the minor add 9. The reason we call it add 9 is because we're skipping what's called the 7th. So to keep this lesson short, here's a ninth chord. It's 0, 3, 7, 10, 14, the minor ninth chord. But what do we call it if we omit the 7th in this case, the tonal twin of that third? We call it the D minor because it is a D minor triad, 3-note chord, and then we're adding in that ninth up top. Now an easier way to not memorize, but an easier way to understand this is you take a root note, count up 7 notes. That gives you a perfect fifth. We'll count up 7 more notes. A perfect fifth of a perfect fifth is the ninth, okay? And then from here, you can just figure out what chord identity you want to add in between. Is it major? Is it minor? Okay, that's the simplified way of understanding this. So when you're playing a minor chord, instead of trying to memorize where the ninth scale degree is, just count up 7 notes from your perfect fifth. Or ask what's the fifth of this note, if that were your root note A. And now you have a minor 9. Great for guitar. Let me see if I can find a guitar. All right, so I'm using my Chord Chrono sounds if you guys are wondering where these sounds are coming from. So it gives you that nice melodic. Because the jump is so far from that perfect fifth, it just adds that extra melodic touch. So try add 9 chords, really good for guitar. The next chord type is a raised third, but playing from what's called a minor 7th chord. So a minor 7th chord is 0, 3, 7, 10. Let's switch to a piano sound here. Okay, so let's draw out the minor 7th chord. It's 0, 3, 7, 10, 0, 3, 7, 10, 0 being the root note. Okay, if you're wondering what chord codes are, and then you count up note by note to figure out the next note. So 0, count up every single note, including the black notes. 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7. That gives you a minor triad all the time, 0, 3, 7. And then we're going to create what's called a minor 7th chord, so 0, 3, 7, 10. So keep counting, 8, 9, 10. Now what I like to do is add the root note down an octave, okay, to add more support. And then from here, I'm going to take this third and pull it up an octave. So it's going to play like this. All right, so it gives us a very specific playing style. So let's do it again. All right, very melodic, very R&B, very soul. Okay, so try that raised third. It's a little bit different than the Jeff Schneider approach, which is to simply just play the chord with the third up top. This is more of a chord voicing technique, okay? So if you're wondering and you're getting stuck with music theory, chances are you're getting stuck on the chord voicing. For example, I could play D minor this way. Okay, even a simple triad is great to practice with. Now what happens if I raise the root note up an octave? Now you get that Dr. Dre type sound. Let me switch to a better keyboard for this. All right, so instead of playing D minor like this in root position, what happens if we raise the root note up an octave? This is called the first inversion, meaning we're inverting the bottom note up an octave. Now you get that Dr. Dre kind of chord voicing, using only 3 notes. We didn't make it complicated. So you guys get the gist. Simply inverting that note gives it a more melodic tone. So instead of playing, not saying one is right or one's wrong, it's just understanding that you can move notes around, and this will evolve your chord voicing for your music theory and your chord progressions. Now, a lot of people skip over chords, but we have to understand that chords make up melody. Like I said before, what happens if we add the raised third in this minor ninth? That becomes our melody. Anytime you hear people kind of jumping around and, you know, making sense of melodies, like for example, let's start here. Let's do. what they're really doing is just strumming the chord. They're using their fingers to arpeggiate. But it starts with the chord first, okay? Now lastly, we have a minute to explain this, is a minor ninth chord. A minor ninth chord is 0, 3, 7, 10, 14. Again, the easier way to remember this, all right, the easier way to think of this is think of your minor triad, 0, 3, 7. 0 is the root note, count up 3 notes, and then count to 7, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now from here, you take the third and you count up 7 notes from the third. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's your 7th, and then take your perfect 5th right here, count up 7 notes from here. Play all those notes. So when you get into bigger chords, it's really just adding the number 7 to wherever you are most of the time. So that's your minor ninth chord. Now this will give you a nice spread of notes, but here's what I'm going to show you guys how to do, is how to revoice this. So long story short, we're going to play the root note, count up 7 notes, count up 7 more notes, so we're just stacking fifths. Okay. And then what we're going to do is play the third up an octave. Basically, we're just going to play a major triad from this point, okay? This is a cool chord voicing you guys could try. Oops. That's what I meant to play. So that's how I get that unique sound. You can take the root note, count up 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, count up 7 more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then take the half step above, use this as your root note, and create a major triad, 0, 4, 7. All right, so we're running out of time here, so this is the last piece. Share this with a friend. Hopefully you guys learned a lot. Go to busyworksbeats.com/premium to learn more. Peace out, guys.